Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thursday already. I don't know, depending on where you're coming from, this is a 4-day week for us. We had Monday off. It was a holiday here in Ontario, and it's been a short week and a fast week because of it. And there's not enough time in a day to do anything. Welcome, welcome. If you're coming back for another trip with us here, welcome back. If this is your first time, hope everyone's doing all right. Let us know where you're coming from. Hello, NYC. I see you there, Lisa. Cassandra from Toronto, welcome back all. New Mexico. It was aloha from Hawaii. Hi, Hawaii. I think we're all very jealous right now that you're on an island and we aren't. Just kidding, just kidding. This morning here in Toronto, it was so gray and so dark and so just blah. It was very gross. Now it's sunnied up. Hopefully it gets a tad bit warmer. I don't want to give in and accept fall quite yet. It's not allowed to happen. So I agree, Carmen. Hello, Washington State. New York, again, the Bronx. Welcome back, everybody. We'll give you guys just 2 or 3 more minutes here to settle in. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope back to school hasn't been too tedious. Here, we're staggering. I know some areas have gone back. Some areas are about to go back, and some are not until next week even. My niece and my nephew don't hit the road until next Thursday, Friday, and even then they're half days. So it's been a very interesting rollout for all of those children going back to higher grades, that's for sure. 2 or 3 more minutes if you're just settling in with us. Lots of people here from Toronto. I feel the love, all. I love it. Hello, California. I hope you're doing all right. I know it's been steamy and fiery there recently. I haven't looked at the most recent news, so I'm not exactly sure where we're at today, but I know it has been great for you guys there. So hello, Ohio, Athena. I hope I say that right. If you haven't been on any of our other webinars, I'm very bad with names, so I do apologize. Morgan from Fort Worth. Hello. Welcome. Susan, Belleville. Not far from my hometown. Minute or two, but what we're going to do is I'm just going to set up a poll just to get a better idea of who we got with us today. So just, have you ever heard of us? Are you a customer with us? Mostly you've heard of us, but never really gone any further. This is your first time. Where have you been? I'm just joking. If anybody would like any more information about Hi Mama, about the Hi Mama app, just message on in the chat here, and Carmen can definitely send you on some info to the right place to connect up with the right people. We're seeing quite a few customers. Hello, Hi Mama family. Everyone, I love accepting people into the Hi Mama family. I love it. You guys are doing some great things, no matter if you are or are not part of the Hi Mama family. Welcome back. All right, perfect. I'm going to end the poll here because we got about 50% or so customers. I think that's absolutely amazing. Before we dive in, I'd love to see who has, is everyone back to school? Let us know in the chat. Has your area gone back to school, as in, your full elementary, all of that has gone back, or you're about to go back? We'd love to hear from you in the chat. So let us know. Love to see kind of what's happening across the areas. I think similarly for most areas, you're either doing a hybrid, going full force and going back full, or you're doing smaller classes and going back. Or some, I know some have said, they're not going back yet at all. I know some areas. So I'm seeing a lot of yes and no's, a lot of both. So Colorado has. Very, very interesting. School never stopped for you, Cheryl. Oh, yeah. See, we full stopped. We full stopped in March. The children never went back to finish the rest of the year. I know my mom is looking at opening up. She's part of our preschool at our local church, and she's on the board. I shouldn't say she's in the classroom or anything right now. She's quite retired, but she's working on getting them open with them. Fantastic teachers, just one teacher, very small group, nothing too fancy. But they're looking at coming back. So of course, you got more than just the preschool things to go about, especially when you're located within a different facility, right? So All right, one more minute here. We'll get going. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's being safe. Before we dive into all the big things and as you're settling in, this is recorded, everybody. So if you're finding you need to go for whatever reason you got, or maybe connection's not the greatest today for a variety of different things as well, do not fret. We will be sending this out tomorrow with the show notes, so everything is recorded. We'll send it on over. So please, don't worry if you do got to duck out. The other thing is we will be giving out our certificates. They'll be available later towards the end of the webinar. And of course, if you don't get it today, do not fret. It will also be included with the show notes for tomorrow. So you will get 2 chances. It's not like you only get one and it's all done. So I see here your son, I went to U of Windsor, and your daughter's high school started today. I think most in Ontario, if colleges and universities have started back. Whether they've started virtually, I know lots have started virtually, but I think mostly everyone's back into the swing of things. So let's dive in all. I'm very excited. Glad to have you here with us. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, please don't be shy, pop them in. We're going to be prompting quite a few questions here today. So I want to see everyone doing their best, participating in the chat. Some great things here today. But if you've never been with us before, I am Maria. I'm one of the early childhood educators here at Hi Mama. I'm on the marketing team. And Carmen is on chat. I know she'll pop in a minute here, but here she is. Like always, Carmen's your go-to lady, guys. She's the glue behind all of it.
Ask me questions. I'll be here in chat.
And 2 weeks ago, if you've been with us over the last 2 weeks, Miss Carmen made us share some fun facts. I shouldn't say made us. Some fun facts, but a fun fact about me is that next Saturday, as long as all goes well, we behave in Toronto. I'm watching it. I'm just joking. As long as all goes well, next Saturday is my big wedding day. So speaking of weddings, I shouldn't steal the spotlight, but in a few minutes, we're going to be bringing on Amanda. We had Amanda with us several webinars back. Super excited to have her on, chatting with us a little bit further about everything that's going on down there in Life's Little Treasures. So it'll be very exciting to have her with us, guys. I love chatting with Amanda. She's fantastic. Love the sense of humor she's got. So I know, get your questions ready for her because I know she's got lots behind her. So thank you for the love in the chat as well. Yes, Angelique, I'm nervous, not about the wedding. I'm nervous about getting to the wedding. Just the time between now and then. That's all I'm nervous about. The rest of it will go off like a hitch. Disclaimer as always, this did not go to legal school. Please don't take us as legal advice. Please do not take us as any financial advice, guys, because at the end of the day, please seek the right advice. I'm not your financial advisor in any way, shape, form, legal advisor. If you're looking for it, please contact the right person in some sort of state format. So this way you're not getting licensings revoked or things like that. You want to meet all the right rules and things like that. We want you to take tips, tricks, strategies, those sorts of great things here from us. So a couple of things we're going to be talking about today. As well, I don't want to let the light not shed on this because I'm sure when you registered, you probably saw we were supposed to have Wanda as well on with us today. Sadly, Wanda couldn't make it, so we're going to try and get her back. But we are still going to be talking a little bit more about some finances. We're going to be talking a little bit more about tips and tricks, supporting teachers, families. That's been the biggest thing right now, is building up that community again, especially with the fact that many parents, of course, depending on your area, but many places you guys can't go back, parents can't go back into the center. So we want to talk a little bit more about that and talking about, building a bit of resilience, working with change, and just some of the challenges that have been coming ahead. So at the end of the day, pop your questions into that chat. We'll be trying to get as many as possible. Okay, I know sometimes we can't get to all of them, but let's start out with, as directors, owners, if you're a team, lead teacher, that's where I was going, guys, only Thursday. If you're a lead teacher and, comes to the end of the day, building some team love. I was chatting with Amanda before. We were talking about, staff retention. It's hard right now. It is very, very hard to especially find quality people out there to come in and especially work for you, work on call for you. If you guys have been having issues or you have any techniques you want to share in the chat, please do. but building around the idea that, you want to build and you want to lift your teachers up. Okay. They're hugely important, as well as any teacher, wherever you are, whatever you're teaching, are hugely important for us to start getting the economy rolling again, start getting everyone back to work, whether you're working from home, whether you're working remotely in a different area, whatever it is you're doing. We want to make sure the teachers get those love that they need. So rally everyone together and make sure parents are involved, and make sure whether you're doing notes of appreciation, a video, anything like that, it's something that makes teachers just realize, because I feel like they don't get enough love all the time, and it's really hard. And yeah, Connie, teamwork's a huge piece. If you look closely as well at this picture, this is actually my team here at Hi Mama. This is our marketing team. But I just realized, Carmen, you're not in the photo. This was very beginning of our Zooming when we first came home in March. And, we try to keep the team love going within our own team as well. So, and I'm fortunate to say that my team is absolutely phenomenal, and I love them all dearly. So get creative. We here at Hi Mama, we have a nickname. We're called the Seals. Don't ask. It's just how we got about it. But get creative with a team name. It comes up with a bit of fun as well. If you want to post in the chat, I'm keeping my eye. I'd love to see, if you guys have any team names coming up. Okay. And as well, take time. And this is one of the things I spoke with Missy about. She does this with her teachers. Take time to have like a weekly, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly, but take some time to debrief with your teachers, whether they just want to tell you about their issues, whether they, want to tell you about something that's not working. They know they have that time to speak with you and listen and emphasize that you are listening and that you have empathy for them, but you want to make sure that you're doing your job to acknowledge them. I agree. And acknowledging everyone is actually truly important. The other one that's really important to acknowledge, if you have, we did at my center, our custodian. Phenomenal gentleman who is there every night. It's of course changed, of course, over the times, but you want to acknowledge everyone, and the cook. I used to think that the infant teacher and the cook probably had the two hardest jobs in the entire center. So let's talk about change. This is it, guys. We do have to change, whether we're changing for better, whether we feel we're changing for worse. At the end of the day, we do need to adapt. And I feel like educators are the most adaptable people out there. So good on you. Okay. Teamwork makes dream work. Yes. I love that saying, by the way. So learning to adapt. And the best way to start that is you want them to rally. You want people to rally, and you need to give them a vision, because otherwise they won't buy in. They won't, really want to adapt. They'll fight you. They need a reason to change. Of course, right now we have a reason. It maybe not be the reason that we want, but we also need to turn it into a positive vision to help create that great change. Okay. Communication is the other thing. If you can't communicate, it's going to fail. No matter what it is you're trying to do, whether it's you changed up the way some paperwork is done, whether you have swapped out time slots for something, you need to communicate properly. It will not work if you do not do that. So think about your communication, think about your tone of voice, think about how you're communicating it. Is it working? Take feedback from your staff, your parents, board of directors, whoever it is you're looking for feedback, and implement it. That's the hardest part at the end of the day. That's the hardest part. And of course, listening is a two-way street. So if you're looking for something from higher up, let's say you're a teacher talking to a lead teacher or gone right to board of directors or somebody like that, you want to make sure that what you're saying is being heard, and they do need to acknowledge that, something's going to happen with that piece of information, whether it's, we need to really think about this, we need to put it on the back burner and actually come up with a great plan. That's, for me, as long as somebody's listening, makes me happy. Okay. Role model. This one's huge. We do this for children, teachers, across the world. We role model day in, day out. It's just who we are, what we do. And at the end of the day, especially when it comes to change and change within your own classroom, even, you're going to role model. And of course, your directors, board of directors, everybody up there. I'm just kind of looping everyone into one. But at the end of the day, they need to role model as well. So I think that creating leadership opportunities, that's huge right now, because at the end of the day, when people can step up into a position, especially if there's someone who is well listened to, who's, can actually voice opinions, listen, have that two-way listening. That's a great, great tip. Honestly, great tip. Confidence, guys. At the end of the day, you want to give your team confidence. You want to build that for them. You want to help understand, where weaknesses are, but then as well, you want to give them that praise where it should be given. Okay. You don't want to praise that's fake. That's one of the things that I'm not a fan of. You want to praise the things that are appropriate, and you don't want to praise things just because. At the end of the day, we talked about this guy several webinars back. I want to say within the first 2 or 3 even. But we talked about this guy, and I thought it was a great time to bring it back because, we very beginning, we talked about resilience. We talked about what it is, why building it. But most importantly, right now, it's about that being flexible. And I wanted to bring this back again. So of course, we still have a lot of these things on our plate right now. It's very crazy how only a couple of months, I shouldn't say a couple, several months have gone by. And at the end of the day, we're still kind of sitting in the same spot, which is kind of outrageous. But we need to think about how to build resilience. Children do this on their own. Children do this from us. We teach it without even knowing it. So it's the how. So think of your life right now as a teeter-totter, especially if you're having a lot of anxiety. I can attest to that. But at the end of the day, I'm just joking, guys. At the end of the day, you want to think about yourself, what's going on in your lives, and think about how you can make changes. Because remember, you can only control what is in your control. You can't control how many cases were reported today. You can't control whether the schools open or close, but you can control what's happening in your life. You can control what information you're taking in, those sorts of things. So a couple of ways you can do is you can unload some of those negatives and you can upload on all the positives that you like. For me, I unload just that negativity of news. I do check it, but I'm trying to stay away with it, especially right now. And I load it up more on my yoga. I load it up more on my reading. I load it up more on taking some time. I'm super fortunate to have this amazing balcony. So it took some time to make sure that I was taking care of myself. The other really cool thing you can do is that little triangle that's sitting in the middle there, called the fulcrum. You can look at moving that in your favor. And this, of course, would make the teeter-totter slip to one side, dropping those negatives all the way to the bottom. It's going to keep the positives up. But what does that actually mean? Well, the idea behind that is that you are building on your core life skills, on your core values, on your core being. So one of those things can be you decided to bake, the whole stream of baking that's gone on. It could be that you decided to take some online courses and maybe finish something from years ago that you never took the time to. And at the end of the day, you want to make sure to give yourself a little focus. And I know this is really hard too, especially if you've got children at home, your partner living at home, you're at home, and it's frustrating because you're juggling as many men and women are right now across the board, just juggling to keep life afloat. Don't forget to take time for you. That's super important. I wanted to notice there was here Deborah in the chat. So she's very blessed to have an amazing education manager and a lead teacher that really support and rally around their staff. And her coworkers, they're 100% supporting each other with questions and concerns. Deborah, that's huge. I wanted to take that. I saw it really quickly and take that and shut it out. It's huge right now. You got to support each other. And similar to yourself there, Deborah, I have that amazing support team that I call my Hi Mama family, which is the immediate team here, which is our marketing team. And you want to make sure that you guys are just doing your best to move on. It's something we just got to learn, move on, and do what we can do. I love this picture. I wish I was the woman sitting on top of the money. I won't lie. I think we all do. But at the end of the day, we're talking a little bit more too here about some money. Lots of centers. This is a really hard spot. And everywhere, it doesn't matter what's going on, who you are. it's a lot of centers are in a very, very, very hot spot with finances right now. And I wish we could do more. And I think that we just need to keep yelling. We need to keep voicing our opinions out there to everybody who needs to hear it, even if they don't need to hear it. We need to keep doing that. So if you haven't, please do your homework for what relief is going on. So financially, states locally, regionally, okay, check out state, provincial funding. Some has been, government funding from, federal funding, things like that. There's definitely funding out there. Take time to understand what applies to you, what you can get, and how it rolls out, because that one's a big one. If you are rolling out and you need it tomorrow, but you didn't apply until like yesterday, it's probably not going to work. I hate to break your bubble. Okay. I hope none of you have to close because of financial reasons, but I also know it's the hard truth for today. It is the hard truth. So please take your time to understand the funding that is out there, that's available for you. And I highly recommend seeking help from a financial advisor, whether that's, just locally. You don't need to go super out of town for that. But at the end of the day, they can definitely look at, the little things help. So whether that's postponing or decreasing interest rates, or postponing payments, or things like that, they are out there and places are doing it. My other tip I wanted to bring up is, you may need to look outside the box a little bit, because some places have gone, instead of, local funding has been, for centers or for different places. But the other thing you might want to look at is potentially looking, small business funding, depending on your area, right? It really, really goes by your regional. But please let us know in the chat, though, because I'd love to hear. You don't have to go into great detail, things that you potentially are looking at, or any tips and tricks when it's come to thinking about your funding, the budgeting, things like that, because a lot of money has gone to, extra staff, extra PPE, those sorts of things, cleaning materials, all of those great things that you need to have right now. And then, of course, it's trying to figure out how to balance the books all in the same go. So if you do have any pointers and you want to drop them in the chat, I'd love to see them, love to hear from them. While that's happening, I'm going to bring on lovely Amanda. Everybody welcome Amanda back. I want to see some love in the chat for her. We had her on several weeks ago. Here she is.
Hey.
Welcome back, Amanda. And so for those of you who don't know, maybe just start with a little bit about you, a little bit about Life's Little Treasures, and just kind of what's going on there right now.
Well, I'm the administrator. You can hear me, right? I'm heard.
It's all good.
It's weird having headphones. I'm the administrator at Life's Little Treasures Daycare in Markle, which is just south of Fort Wayne, Indiana. We are a ministry. We've been in this for about 15 years now. And right now our enrollment is full as we can be. And so we're still doing the sanitizing and as much social distancing and limiting sharing. And we just try to keep all of our rules in check there. But there was an overwhelming need for childcare when all these other childcare closed. So we managed to stay open and stay safe as we could. And that's kind of where we're going right now.
So Amanda, did you guys do any distance learning for your program at all? Or were you just primarily open for emergency services?
We did not. I had asked parents, like, is this something that would be useful to you? And most of them didn't really feel in the time that it was. So we didn't put our energy there. We did make extra efforts to point out activities parents could do at home. Like when we posted pictures of the kids doing stuff, like how you could do this at your house, ways to integrate learning that way at home, but we never did any like distance learning or virtual learning or anything.
Gotcha. So, and because you guys are full now, maybe just enlighten everybody what that kind of looks like for you guys. I know when we were chatting before, I had the idea, but
right. We have 2 infant rooms that are 4 and 8 babies. We have 3 toddler rooms at 5 kids apiece. We have 2 preschool rooms at 7 kids and 1 preschool room at 9 to 10 kids, depending on the day.
Very interesting. So tell us, of course, it's community for educators is a huge piece, I find, and being able to involve parents in what's happening in the center. Tell us a little bit about how you guys are creating a sense of community during COVID. It's and a healthy sense of community as well. And maybe just enlighten us a little more on like some of the communication pieces you guys are doing, just to make sure parents are knowing what's going on with you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
We have a closed Facebook group for our parents that almost all of our parents are part of. I think we have 2 that aren't on Facebook. So the teachers every day post a lot of pictures and, explanations of activities. I like to post conversations I have with the kids, with a funny little picture. We also use we use Hi Mama app. And so we use the app to share pictures and to share stories. I encourage my teachers to send a positive note home for every child once a week, so that when you do have to talk to a parent, it's not just for something bad.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing that we do is sometimes you have to work really hard to get that positive note that week, but they all do it. And every week we have at least one good thing that we make a point to say, in a note that they have. And the other thing we started doing is using surveys. We use Survey Monkey. Okay. The latest one we sent out was about the art we sent home. Just, do you save it? Would you rather we just take a picture of it and post it? If we offered up the idea of donating it to like a nursing home or assisted living facility, would you, be with that? So I just am constantly asking the parents, if we go this direction, what do you think? What's your input? And that's got a lot of good insight for me, so we know where to go from here.
I like that. I like how, it's very open as well for your families. And I'm actually curious, have you gotten the responses from this survey? Because I thought when you said you were sending it to like assisted living or anything like that, what did parents say? Like, I think that would actually be a great idea too.
I had almost every parent say, I love that idea. Like, if you set a box out, I want to pick what you send, but I would love to send, something. And I had 2 parents volunteer to help deliver it for me, which was phenomenal. Great. So
that is phenomenal.
Yeah, that made me feel good, because I'm like, well, that's one thing I don't have to worry about, and we can still do this and help other people.
And your parents are also involved as well, and they feel connected to what's going on for you guys, especially right now with it being so just up in the air. So tell us about some of the challenges you guys have faced and how your teachers dealt with some of those challenges in a variety of contexts. That can be in the classroom with cleaning, whatever. Oh, she's got a list, guys.
Yeah, sit down. This is going to take a while. Our big thing right now is just getting good staff that's reliable and dependable. Because you don't want a lot of people coming in and out of the building. So you try to, really look for somebody you think is going to be good. And we just have not had luck with that lately. Fortunately, the staff the core staff that we have has taken it in stride really well. We do have to shuffle kids some days, which we don't like for so many reasons.
Yes.
Not just COVID reasons, but it just disrupts their day.
Yes.
But all the teachers have just, okay, this is what we're doing today. And they all have like formed relationships with the kids that end up getting shuffled up, so that there's not a lot of transition anxiety for the children. But I say this constantly, like, my staff right now is amazing. The ones that are core, like, I'm like, okay, here's what we got. And they're like, what do you need to do? And there's people that don't have that, and I know how lucky I am to have that.
Truly, it sounds like your group you can throw the curveball and be like, so this is what we got, and we just got to work through it, right? Like, that is it. Kudos to your team, because it's not easy. Tell us a little bit though about maybe working with them in regards to like coming back, some of their anxiety, their fears. Maybe just kind of walk us through the process you went with them a little bit.
Most of them were fine coming back. I'd only had one person that had some anxieties about it, because she was the primary caregiver for her mother.
Okay.
And so she was a little worried, but everyone came in. I said, all right, here's what we got to do now. Like every time we'd get the new email of here's the new COVID rules, they're like, okay, what do we need? What do we do? And I would just say, I need you to take this out of your room. I need you to sanitize, whatever. And everybody felt confident in everybody else. I think that
Good.
was the big thing. Like the infant teachers were confident that the toddler teachers were holding their slack, and doing their work. And
Yep.
it was just a teamwork kind of thing that we had to build. And I even told them, if you can't get to something, you've got to tell somebody else. And it's worked for us so far.
Mhm.
The only time somebody's been a little worried was when we had a baby go home really sick.
Oh no.
And, they were like, I was just holding this kid and what, but they were fine. Like we changed their clothes, we got the adult handled. And, once the baby was fine, they realized we're all on edge because of this. And we can't be
Mhm.
like, it has to be this weird, like business as usual, but with it in the back of your head,
Yep.
because if you dwell on it, it's just going to make you so anxious that you can't focus.
Of course.
And that's really been we're going to keep doing what we know how to do. That's just our mantra. It's just, we're going to do what we know how to do.
Hey, and you want to know what? Like you said, if you have it there and it's not going to go away, but at the same side, it also makes you it keeps you on for that cautious, monitoring of everything. But on the same side, you still need to enjoy yourself and enjoy the children because that's what they're there, and you have to, because they're phenomenal little. As I said, my niece, I call her my little animal, guys. It's a personal one there. But so tell us a little bit then about your classroom setup. I know I've seen a couple of questions about masks, and like what age, of course, not under 2 for you for sure, but what, maybe kind of enlighten us a little bit more about what your classrooms look like right now and in and out of those transitions throughout the day.
We try very hard to keep classes separated,
Mhm.
so that they're not grouping together. There has been a couple times where we've had to, for whatever reason, like the storm was coming and there was only about a half-hour window, so everybody went to the playground to get some energy out, kind of
Yep.
we're just going to make this decision and go with it kind of thing. But we do not have to wear masks. Our
Okay.
kids are all under 5,
Yep.
and in Indiana it's 8 or over, I believe.
Okay.
So we don't have to wear them. The staff does, but the kids don't.
Yes.
And then there's just a lot of sanitizing.
Yes.
And a lot of individual, like we don't share Play-Doh, obviously. Like everybody's Play-Doh tins are labeled and things like that. It's just sanitizing and separating are the name of the game, really.
Yeah, those are probably the biggest ones. So do you have like any social distancing like tips for within the classroom? Obviously, just doing your best to keep children from licking each other is probably the hardest one. But
with the preschoolers, one of our teachers uses round placemats
Okay.
as like little markers of where the kids can stand or sit.
Mhm.
So she can kind of, and they don't have to sit on that placemat, but it provides a visual, like
Yes.
how many people can be over here kind of
Mhm.
thing. And we also kind of do that with chairs around the table, limit the amount of chairs we have, or the amount of materials that are out. I mean, it's
Mhm.
just, we try not to make a big deal out of it.
Yep.
Because we have those kids that are going to start screaming weird things like social distance, and we don't really want to cause that.
You don't
But
need
it's
that
just,
happening.
we have a strange group of kids. I swear they're the awesomest. But I'm like, you shouldn't be okay, whatever. But it's mostly the visual.
Okay.
Like making visual spaces that obviously only hold 2 people or 1 person, or does that make sense?
Yeah. No, totally. It's
Yeah.
especially for a child, it gives them a better idea of, oh, can I actually go over there right now? Well, I can't, there's not enough space. So it's more of
that's
just
the
thinking
biggest
of it.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. So for you guys, just because I saw it coming up in the chat and I realized, I don't know if I'd asked you this before, do you guys have school age kiddos there or no?
We don't usually. We have
Okay.
2 first graders that get on the bus in the mornings and get off the bus.
Okay.
And they've been with us since they were infants.
Okay, yeah.
So they wear their masks when they're there, most of the time, unless they're eating or something, obviously. But
Yes.
we actually have no real school kids this year, which is nice.
Got you. Because that's definitely been one of the big things. Last week we were chatting with a couple of our couple of guests, and they, of course, are bringing on. They're not so worried about the children themselves. They're worried about, let's say they have a preschooler is coming to the center, and then their school age sibling is gone off. So it's been like you got to think about that. So jumping a little bit here, you're administrator there, of course, and I'm sure you're in and out of the classroom doing everything and anything possible. But tell us a little bit for yourself, like what was the biggest challenge on the administrative side for you during all of this, or even a couple of challenges that you had to face and overcame?
I would probably say just scheduling.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to keep the same people together. When it was at the lowest point, we only had 3 classrooms open. So we tried to keep the same teachers in the same rooms and the same kids in the same rooms, but we didn't need all of our staff at the same time.
Yes.
So it was really like a Jenga puzzle trying to figure out the best way to juggle everybody. And so nobody felt like they were being shorted, but we weren't also putting a whole bunch of people in one room.
Yeah.
That was probably the biggest one. And then recently, I would say the biggest thing is because of the state that I live in, there are a lot of people in our state that don't feel like they need to wear masks.
Okay.
They don't see their importance. So the struggle is with some parents, that just don't feel like any of this is a real thing. And so we're trying to take all these precautions and they don't understand why. Like they don't understand why we have to, I think is better.
Yeah.
So that's been the struggle, is just trying to educate everybody, like, okay, even if it's not real, let's pretend it is, and still just be safe. Because if we shut down for a week, you're going to be mad about that too.
Yeah.
But that's my biggest challenge right now, is just trying to make people understand that we still have to do all this stuff and be safe.
For sure. And safety is there for the children and for the staff. And then on the other hand, there's there for the parents too. You may have one parent who, like you said, just maybe truly doesn't stick. And then you have that other parent that very much wildly gets it, and they don't want to be wrapped up in all of that. And that's a really big juggle in so many ways. So are you still working with this families, I should say, or family, or is it sort of starting to you're over the hump, or maybe still some education is at the point?
They probably won't see this. So okay. We sort of educate families the same way we work academics in with the kids, just
Gotcha.
sort of slide it in underneath so they don't really realize what's happening, So
But
that's
we do.
usually like oh, hey, look at the kids doing this thing and this is why they're doing it, kind of a slide it in there. This is why they're cleaning the toys, and just hope it catches on.
Hey, honestly, we educate all over. It doesn't matter who or how or anything like that. So wanted to jump a little bit more, talk a little bit about some of those finances pieces. So with your center, maybe just enlighten us at like an overview of like working in the budget, those extra things like cleaning supplies, PPE. Was that a big struggle for you guys? Were you mostly set up okay? What did it look like for you guys?
We started out okay. And we immediately put a plea out with parents.
Okay.
Like, hey, if you're up, because there was limitations on everything. Like you could only buy 2 soaps or 2 sanitizers. It was just, if you feel led, this is what we need. And that helped us get stocked up, for free, kind of, because it was donations. And that carried us through a big part of it. Wow. Right now we're starting to get low on stocks. So our school list this year, our supply list, we put one out in September when our preschool starts, was Kleenex, sanitizer, soap, bug spray. Like that was our school supply list this year, instead of markers, and because we had plenty of that already. We had stocked up on that. So that helped so much, since we're a non-for-profit, and with COVID, our income to outgoing ratio was not always lining up very well. And there was a couple of weeks we went in the red. So having the help from the parents or the community is what really got us through some of the hardest times.
I feel like centers, the community is starting to go around the centers. They're starting to realize that they do need the help and that it's really needed in so many ways. So I know you said like right now you guys are full, so of course you're not having to worry about balancing any of the, you know, day-to-day operations and enrollment. Did you ever hit that point when it was like, you know, let's say a couple of months ago, or for the most part with those parents were carrying you through a little bit?
We were fortunate that we were able to get a loan of some kind. It had a name. I
Oh, it's
don't
okay.
remember. But that helped us still be able to pay the employees full time, even
Fantastic.
if they weren't working full time. And that alone is what got us through. And that was just because the person that takes care of the finances,
Mhm.
like you said earlier, did her research. She looked into it, said, I think we can do this, and applied for it and did all the legwork. And I just said, cool, let me know when we have the money. Like, don't ask me to help with this because I don't understand.
Okay, I sit in the same boat, Amanda. It's like, what? How much is it? Talk to the guy over there.
Right. But
Not
doing
my
your
forte.
research is the biggest part of it. It's just
Yeah.
there's help out there some way. You just got to kind of look for it.
Totally. You totally do. Even for us here at Hi Mama, you know, we definitely looked hard, and our team here, the finance team on our side, were, you know, they were trying to do their best, and they did their best and made everything work and secured what they needed to secure and moved on. So I think it's a huge piece. Any tips for centers, you know, just getting creative if they are needing some help with generating some revenue? I know you'd already mentioned asking parents, so the school supply list would be one. Do you have any other ones that might be a great way to go about it?
There's a few different things we do that don't generate a lot on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just simple things like there's a program, I'm in the United States, but
Yeah.
there's a program where parents can buy gift cards for full price, and then we submit an order, and then we get a kickback from that gift card order. And usually we can buy a gift card that will buy our groceries for the month from that order. And then there's other, like our grocery store has a thing that if parents shop with your number or your card or whatever, you get a percentage of the sales. Like all of those kind of little community things, that helps add up. And it's weird to think that, you know, just shopping at the grocery store could add up to a lot. But then you think about it, you're like, well, that bought our toilet paper for the month. Like we don't have to worry about this.
Yeah.
You know, I had one other one that's totally like gone out of my brain.
Okay. So that's a great one. And I think just talking about it in the community and making sure you're connected with the community, I think is huge. I think they're the biggest things there right now in supporting centers across the world. Let's jump into some Q&A with you here. And as well, if anybody wants in the chat, I would love to hear anything from you guys about what you're doing financially. Like I'd said, don't go into specifics. We don't want, you know, I want your credit card number with the expired. No, I'm just kidding.
Dang,
the whole thing, fun. Right? Let's go shopping. No. Let us know. We'd seen a good one here. Sherry said the Federal CARES Act right now is doing low interest loans, especially to help the small businesses. I think that's a huge one. Looking for the low interest things like that. It's huge. So let's start with one of the questions that we got was, you know, when you don't have any, when you do, what do you do when parents don't wear the masks? Like, what do you say with them? And also maybe to clarify, do your parents come in your center right now, or are they dropping off the door?
They come right inside the door because
Okay.
we don't have enough staff to meet them outside. So they come inside and their child gets their temperature taken right away.
Yep.
I think we have managed to get it down to one parent at the moment who just straight up will not wear a mask.
Okay.
So we try to intercept that child and just keep moving like, hey, thanks, okay, keep going. You know, but that was work getting there. But
yeah,
you know, we never wanted to make them feel like awful for not wearing their mask. Like that's your choice, I get it, but at the same time you need to have one on in here.
Yes.
So we just tried to toe that line and just sort of, thanks, hey, bye, yeah, I got you, kid. Because I mean, we personally don't have any other routes to take with that. Like, I can't just get them outside.
No, for sure. And then you're probably not the only one. Some places, yes, they definitely, they have the staff, they have the space, and they can meet parents outside and do I almost want to say the McDonald's drive-through. That's what it kind of reminds me of.
Yes.
But hey, you know what? It probably moves a lot faster, getting kids in and out. On the
Right.
topic of finances, so, well, I shouldn't say finances. Lisa here, I wanted to shout her out a little bit here. Community partnerships are a great way to receive support. It is totally true, and it echoes everything Amanda's been saying here. And then Athena, so she says for her, diversifying certifications to ensure a continuous funding pool is what I'm going for. So congrats on that side. So example, we are almost complete with criteria needed to be for a provider in Ohio. Department of Job and Family Services, where we will be able to accept students who receive the title funds. So next, they complete their certification with the Department of Developmental Disabilities, where we'll accept students with developmental delays. Fantastic. And then they'll be funded through the county. So lastly, we'll expand our services to a charter school model, where we will complete the certification process, accept students with the autism spectrum. God bless you all. And then we'll be able to receive students from the autism scholarship, and then I'm sure some more funding there. So even that might be a great idea, looking depending on your area for different certifications to allow for different types of funding is a great way to go about it. So a couple questions I've seen here is, so you were talking about scheduling staff. That was one of your hard challenges. So how did you, I just moved down. How did you kind of come around with, a workaround with that, and how did you communicate it with your staff? And was there any feedback from your staff that made it change?
When I have to do a big scheduling shift, or like currently we're working on changing our curriculum, which I
Okay.
know isn't related, but it's sort of related in my brain.
Oh, good.
I go into that classroom, like I sit down on the floor and I said, here's the issue. Here's my options.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts? What do you think? What are you willing to do? And I just get everybody's opinion to start with.
Yep.
If there's somebody that says, I really can't work past noon, or something, then I make a note of that, and that's how we schedule them.
Mhm.
Right now, we're back to normal scheduling, but when it was kind of crazy because
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to schedule everybody, I just, like, to their face, asked them, like, I need to know. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Tell me what's for real.
Yes.
Um, I mean, the biggest thing I try to do with my staff is just be transparent. Like if I'm struggling with something, a few weeks ago, we had a really bad week at the building. Everything. I was getting married. We were short staffed. The whole place was tore up because we were getting carpet. Like
Oh
it was
man.
nuts. And I sent an email out that said, if I forget something, just please remind me. If you think I'm snapping at you, I'm really sorry, I'm not. Like I
Mhm.
try to be transparent so they'll be transparent with me. And anytime I need input, I just sit on the floor with the kids and the teacher and say, can we have a quick chat about this? And I think that's
Fantastic.
gained a lot of points for me. And then they're more flexible when they need to be because of that.
Totally. I think it's super powerful to involve your teachers in decisions. It's super powerful, and I can't emphasize it enough. So you're talking about outside. So we had a question here about social distancing on the playground. I know when we were talking before, it was kind of like a freak thing where you guys decided to all go out at once. But
Right.
maybe on a day-to-day, how are you doing social distancing, let's say around preschoolers here, because this is Dorothy's question specifically aimed at that area on the playground right now. She's looking for suggestions there. And of course, anybody want to add in the chat, I'd love to see that as well. But for you, Amanda, maybe what's a couple of things you guys are doing?
I think another big thing, sort of like in the classrooms, is to
Mhm.
create those visual spaces, where we have like a little playhouse thing,
Yeah.
that we just say there's only so many kids in the house, or only so many kids. We do have a sensory table that we use outside and change constantly, because we don't want to take that away from they love the water table, so we just change it all the time when we're outside. But it's just sort of creating a flow on the playground,
Mhm.
the spaces, the how we go up and down. We have two slides, one's an up, one's a down,
There you
and
go.
um I mean, that it's hard. It's so hard because you don't want to like scare them into thinking they can't be around other people. But so it's just the teacher's job is really tough, but it's to make those spaces where there's only so many kids in a group,
Yeah.
and then just cleaning everything constantly.
That's so true. The cleaning thing is now, is your playground plastic or wood?
Wood, almost
Okay.
all wood.
Almost all wood. Ours was very same. So are you guys sanitize? Like I know some places have said don't sanitize wood, sanitize wood. Are you guys doing that? I think a
The
variety of things
They
is
were
happening.
doing like the chains on the swing,
Got you.
and then the water tables were the biggest things that we
Yeah,
just make sure to keep clean.
fair enough. It's really, I don't think wood sanitization is really possible.
And it's like this huge structure. Like you're gonna spend half your day out there sanitizing every inch of wood structure. So we just hit the high touch areas.
Then there's just one kid who comes along, it's all done.
Just licks everything.
Of course, always one, always one. Amanda, it's been absolutely fabulous having you back on, and I'm so happy we've had the chance to like chat for as long as we've had. But do you want to leave us with any words of wisdom, advice for the audience? Something to just take us home with.
I've kind of hit this before the last time we talked, but I saw a thing that was the idea that 10,000 hours in a subject makes you an
Mhm.
expert. I think
Yep.
it's 10,000. It's a lot. And that hit home with me.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not a COVID expert, but I am a child care expert. I
Yeah.
am an early learning expert. And that's just the thing to hold on to. Like, you do your business as normal and you keep the COVID stuff in your brain and you're going to be all right. Like, it's going to be okay in the end. That's
Love it.
my thing.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I got a couple of shout outs here. Miss Carmen's been passing them along. And of course, it's always when I want to like scroll back, the mouse doesn't work, guys. So Carrie, said, give yourself that I can't do this anymore day, because you can and you will. And I agree. Don't be afraid to take that day. It's so important. Stacy says, no matter our feelings about all of this, we need to have compassion for the way others interpret things. Totally true. Totally true. It's almost that, I shouldn't say it's almost, it's like the idea around you don't know what's been happening in somebody else's life. And as soon as you interpret it in the way you think it is, and it may not be that, you just kind of you got to go with it, guys. Got to go with it and do your best. And I want to say thank you to all our educators. And we're going to put out here one more thing is creative funding that we wanted to add. So Wanda's center, who we're going to bring back a little later, has created some COVID t-shirts. She talked about this last time. Misty's come up with the custom masks. I don't know how she's got to have like superpowers or something in the time that she has in a day. Anyways, but she's doing that, and this is fun. And I'll go back to the center, and then this way the staff get to do. I like doing creative stuff. I know you're up to it as well, but doing those creative things is a fun way to go about it. So take a little project on, and you'll probably actually make some, a little bit behind, in your pocket. Certificates, everybody, in the files section. I know Miss Carmen will be in there in a minute dropping in some files, but you can get your certificate for today, download it as a PDF, pop in your name, pop in your center name. You'll be good to go. Okay, folks? And then like I said, if you don't get it today, you will get it tomorrow within the show notes and recording. We'll be sending that out on tomorrow. And next up, guys, we won't be back until October 1 right now. So please, keep your eye out. We may sneak in one between now and then, but for sure we'll be off next week and potentially in the week after. But keep your eye out for October 1st. We will be back. We're still working on the topics and everything to, make sure we're covering everything for you guys. Okay. At the end of the day, follow us on social media. We're all here. Miss Kaya is on social media all the time, I feel like. This is her job, actually. So anyways, find Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I love Pinterest. Just coming onto the Hymo website. We're here. Check us out. Don't be shy. As well, before I sign out, I don't know if Miss Carmen wants to add anything for the end of the day or not, but did I miss anything, Carmen?
You didn't. You guys did an awesome job. And I just wanted to thank Amanda for spending some time and sharing your tips with us. We love how real of a leader you are and such an inspiration.
Totally.
So thanks so much, Amanda. And everyone in the crowd, thanks for spending your afternoon with us. We always appreciate your time. See you guys.
Thank you, everyone. Amanda, thank you once again. See you later. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. See you next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.